Good morning, everybody. It's about 7 a.m. on Friday, and today is the last day of the called student strike. They were going to go Monday to Friday and strike from classes for that period of time. Now, they've had the lectures coming in. Uh, the next week, don't know if they're going to continue or if they're going to, the leaders of this strike are going to ask the students to stay out for a longer period of time. There are other actions taking place, such as Occupy Central on October 1st. That's next week, the end of next week, that are also organized where they're going to um, come and do a protest to the Central District with sitting down on the sidewalk, in the street, in the park, for a period of time, could be up to 3 days. And they expect the numbers to be in the thousands again, 5,000 or 10,000. Now, last night, I estimate there were about 5,000 people in the park here, and they all left outside of a handful that remained behind. They marched to the government house, which is the chief executive's former residence. They use it now for ceremonial purposes. It's located about a 20-minute walk from this park, and they marched there. And as far as I can figure out, that was an unauthorized march. That means that they did not go to the government and write a letter requesting to be able to march, which in Hong Kong you need a letter of what's called no objection from the police, where they can march and the government just kind of tags along and sets up barricades along the way, to guide the people in a certain direction. This one is just people went walking, and they went in en masse and they protested. So that's the largest gathering that has been unauthorized that I know of, perhaps in the history of Hong Kong since the handover to the Chinese Communist government in 1997. And now, um, I was in the park last night after the marchers left, and then they just a handful of people moved the possessions, and there was a lot of tents and a lot of audio visual equipment, and they just moved it to the legislative console, which you see behind me right here. um, and they just put it there. Not sure what they're going to do with it, whether they're going to remove it today, whether they're going to reset it up. We'll just have to see what happens this morning. And the park is totally empty now. The government had said that the park needed to be reserved for a pro-Beijing, pro-communist China group that has already reserved the park for a few days, uh, up and through the weekend. Now that's normal. What the government will do is they'll come and say, no, you can't have this venue for protesters because a group who supports pro-China has already reserved the place, and there's really no way to check it. They don't provide any documentation. It just is what they tell the people, and so the students have moved. They're relocated. There's only a few here today. The ones that marched, I don't know where they went to. I'm not sure. They could still be at the government house sleeping out overnight there, or they may have went back to their homes. Uh, so it'll be an interesting day today as to what happens. I don't know. I just have to see. And the lecturers are planned to come today to continue teaching the classes. Basically, the classes have been teachings on civil disobedience, democracy, things that the students really need to be thinking about. There have been a lot of books here that have been made available to the students on a lend basis. They can just come and sit around and read them and then return them and check out another book. So thanks a lot. I'm just going to kind of show you the area here so you've got an idea. This is actually the entire length of there's the restaurant down there that's open to the public. These are the entrance doors that go into the legislative console behind me. And it's been open since the student strike. That means you can just go there and say I want to go into the library, which is open to the public, or use the restaurant, or I want to. There are no meetings being held with the legislative council in the chambers, so that's not available. But they've not closed the area to the public, and you can see right here. This is where they're having classes here during the daytime. This is one of 3 places they're having classes, and then this is known as the official protest area. So people here can just come out and they can um, uh, protest. They notify the legislative council, and almost always they just say, yeah, that's fine. Now remember, this is the place that was also put under behind me. This is where the about a month and a half ago they had a huge number of protesters. I would estimate around 2 to 4,000 that came here protesting. And then they went in and attacked that building right behind me, trying to get inside the doors. They wanted to have an occupy, means they go in and protest inside that building, and they were denied. So then they tried to force open the doors, and that's what those 19 people are on trial about over at the magistrate building that I went to yesterday in support. They've been charged with criminal offenses. So that's it, and I hope you enjoy these updates. So I'll keep doing them as much as I can. I'm trying my best to get the word out around the world about what is happening here, and why we should be concerned, and why you should be concerned and also support. Thanks a lot. Take care. Have a good day.